Bup. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is Marshall Franklin-Ravel. Hi, how are we? Lovely to be able to record a message. I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear I just recorded a message which was over the 15-minute mark, and therefore I couldn't upload it, which, as I'm sure you can imagine, filled me with utter joy. I wanted to reach out. I wanted to give an unfettered account of where I understand my career and my music to be at this time. I think things are very promising. I've released 2 albums online. A third will come this year, and the new album is called Rescue Just in Time, which will be a summation of the work, the best work that I've recorded in New York with my producers, primarily James Elliott Wilson and Thomas Colon over at Native Son. It will solidify the relationship I have with Sheila Prevost as my artistic mentor, essentially, somebody who really brings out the best possible images of Marshall Franklin-Ravel and what it means to essentially be Marshall Franklin-Ravel. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I don't want to spend 20 minutes talking and then not be able to upload this, so I shall be keeping an eye on the clock as I do this. I am a big fan of sustainable music, sustainable lifestyles. I want things to be as polished as they possibly can for the amount of money that I can reasonably afford to be able to support things. I do have some sales happening. There are people that buy my records. I do get a check once in a while from CD Baby. We're not talking about significant amounts of money right now, and until that becomes the case, I'm not able to give you these kind of more polished efforts. I need to be able to pay people for their time, and pay actors and pay actresses, and I can't do that if I'm not making the kind of revenue which is above, not poverty, but minimum, at least, of being able to support myself and support what it takes to, achieve a basic standard of living. So, I'm just putting that out there. If you buy one of my records, that money's going to go to helping me produce new records and new videos and higher quality things. If you don't, then I can't. If you're downloading it off of some kind of web file sharing device, that's great that you're getting the song for free. Congratulations. It's not helping the artist. The artist can't record without your support. The artist can't do anything without your support. Or an artist is forced into a life of corporate slavery, where I basically have to do what the man behind the desk says, and if the man behind the desk wants me to be gay all day, that's what I got to do. If the man wants me to be a crooner, and wear a bow tie and a tuxedo all the time, that's what I've got to do, because he is funding the thing and investing the thing, and therefore his politics take over what I would like to do, and a true representation of myself as the artist. I've introduced running commentary over the last, I believe September was the first time, and I want to thank everybody for their warmth and reception to those. It's just the beginning, these were introduced as an alternative to the music. I understand that not everybody wants to hear my music. Not everybody wants to hear me sing. Not everybody wants to hear me talk. Not everybody wants to look at me. I understand that. But I do have enough people who are interested in my artistic ability that I believe I can justify putting down writing, creating these homemade videos until such a time as finance allows me to do more with it. I'd love to be able to go into a studio and record with the Philharmonic Orchestra. I can do that. I do have the musical ability to go in, put an orchestra with a track, a la Pet Shop Boys, or a la any of the artists that you can think of, but I can't do that on credit. What I can't do is take the chance of like, oh, I'm going to put $1 million out front, and then it all goes bang, and then I'm left with $1 million bill, and you know what I mean? So, and I think the great thing about that is that Marshall Franklin-Ravel's audience have an imagination. They have an ability to see further than what they're immediately seeing. They need that. Stage productions need that. Any kind of performer needs that initial investment. It needs that initial imagination from the audience. It needs that support. And you'd be surprised what a little bit of support can do. You know, in some cases it's wording, and that's great. In some cases it's financial. That's very powerful in as much as in today's day and age we have to have that finance to be able to get anything achieved, and I know that all of you are dealing with that, and with groceries at an all-time high, and utilities, and paying for a car, and paying for a child, and everything else. And I'm also aware that, you know, my audience tends to exist largely between the you know, 30s. You know, people who are in their 30s tend to like what I do. We grew up around the same time. We tend to have the same musical tastes. I am not one of these people that is going to try and pretend to be like, you know, some rap star's best friend in order to get ahead. I just don't believe in that. I think, you know, people see through being a phony, and I'm not interested in being a phony. I'm not interested in being exposed as like a pretender. And so therefore that's why I'm taking this approach. A lot of people get very frustrated with me and would love for me, nothing better than for me to, you know, take the check, grin and bear it, all smiles, and, you know, go to hell in a handbasket in my own life so that they can enjoy the rewards of other people's investment and get to see me do well and, you know, feel like they're a part of it and all of that. And that's great, but just like, you know, my favorite saying right now is easier said than done. You know, it's like somebody asking me, goes, you know, someone could say to me, could you please move 100 dining room chairs across to the other side of the zip code? It took me how long to say that? 10 seconds. Now, how long does it take to do? How long does it take single-handedly to move 100 chairs, dining room chairs, across to the other side of the zip code? Longer than 10 seconds. So, you know, I find that a lot of people, you know, they say stuff, and they just say, oh, you know, well, maybe you should just get plastic surgery. It takes them 10 seconds to say something. Now think of what the action requires. It requires money. It requires consultations. It requires. And we are very much in that age where people just say, oh, maybe you should get married. Maybe you should have a child. And it's this soundbite. It's like such a great idea. Oh, I'm so creative because I came up with a soundbite for what the future of your life is in 10 seconds. Well, thank you very much. The reality is, the physics of that is, it requires action. It's not just, oh, this is an idea and oh, God, boom, magically appears. Not in real life, you know. So, you know, I want to thank everybody for their support, in as much as they would love for me to bite the bullet, you know, kiss some corporate ass and get on in life. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that would be very nice, I guess, if you didn't have to do it. You know, you do it. You do it. You first. I've learned a lot from the general public. I think one of my favorites is one time serving, you know, not just once actually, there's so many times in a dining room situation where they get the other person to order first so that they can observe how that goes for them, because they don't want to actually commit themselves to a plate. So they're like, I'll see how that person gets along with it. Like, they basically, we're using each other as guinea pigs. So yeah, you do that, and I'll see how that works, and then I've got no commitment, and so therefore that works really beautifully for me. Yeah, great idea. I'm not impressed with that ideology, I'm sorry. I think that that's such a cop-out. I think that that's cowardice. I think that that is, it lacks spine, it lacks character, it lacks all of the things that makes the people great. Just an opinion, you know. So, with my eye firmly on the time, I want to wrap things up, because I do want this to upload, and I don't want to, you know, have to abandon ship. Marshall Franklin-Ravel is achievable, sustainable music. It is living within my means. I have to support myself in today's world. That requires money. So I have to work a regular job. And it's not because I'm not talented, it's not because I'm not gifted. it does mean that I'm not prepared to put myself out on a national, local, or international stage at the whim of somebody else's vision of me. I don't need somebody else's vision of me. I'm very clear on who I am, and I think in a lot of cases that's intimidating for people. They would prefer that you conform for their own comfort, and I'm not going to do that. I'm terribly sorry. Marshall Franklin-Ravel fans will be very glad to hear that. They don't want Marshall Franklin-Ravel to be a carbon cutout or go get the surgery and get the hair implants and do all that crap. You know, I mean, of course, you know, if I think I look like hideous, then I am going to change things. But I'll be honest about it. I think honesty is the best policy. So please continue to support the music. I'm going to definitely, now that I've found this outlet of webcam, I'm going to be sort of reporting in regularly. You've got the running commentaries. You've got the music. If I get the sales, I'll put everything into the music. You know, if you guys buy the records on the websites, even if it's $1 here and there, once in a while, it helps out. It makes a difference. If you support the music, if you support the words that I'm putting down, if you support the effort, I can get that effort back to you. If you just kind of sit sort of scared and say, oh yeah, I'm going to look at it from a distance, yeah, but you know, I can't really afford to spend 99 cents. Okay, I get it. Great, thank you. Independent musicianship relies on donations. You know, I could be out on the subway doing this. I could. Do I want to? Not necessarily, no. The reason I, you know, support a huge internet bill every month is the hope that I don't have to go out on the subway to sing for my supper and get heckled and have to deal with you know, I see that on the way to work. I don't want to get on a train and then get a ticket from the MTA for performing without a license and things of that nature. So I'm not begging. I'm not in the habit of begging. But please understand, I can't do more with my music without financial support. I can't do it. I can only do when I have a few spare dollars, you know, pay the director, pay the cast, whatever it is I've got to do, pay for location, all of that stuff. I can't do it without your support, and I'm not going to go through corporate, just so you know. I can't do it. I would last 5 minutes. And so often, I last 5 minutes in corporate situations. I find it soulless, and I have a lot of soul, and I have a lot to offer. I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for listening. Things will get better. For me, for us, for you. Let's, you know, let's work at it together, but let's be honest about what's really happening. Let's, you know, not brush things under the carpet. Let's accept responsibility. Let's live within our means. Let's not point the finger out, because that means that there's 4 pointing back at us. And I think that this is a great place to start. And again, I want to thank everybody for their support. And there's been a lot of it, globally, in small pockets. If that global small pockets starts to give me $1 here and there, I can give it back to you. I'm not necessarily hugely interested in making a great amount of profit, but I am interested in being able to fund the music from the audience who are enjoying it. So if you are enjoying it, you know, put $1 in once in a while. I'm not every day, you know, just once in a while. If you could do that, I'd be really grateful. I don't really want to bust. I don't want to go out there and be a panhandler singing. But, you know, if I have to, I will do it, because I believe in my music that much. Love to my family, love to my significant other, love to my fans, my friends, my foes, my detractors, my hecklers, all of you, thank you. And I look forward to updating this message soon. And welcome to the new Marshall Franklin-Ravel YouTube channel. Awesome, right? Cheers.